A gazette issued this August pertaining to the registration of unregistered or illegally obtained elephants had animal rights activists up in arms, and rightfully so. The regulation is in three parts. One, for the protection and well-being of tamed elephants. Let me say right here, there are no tame elephants but rather captive elephants. Part 2 is to regularize the registration of these tamed elephants. And Part 3 is to obtain tamed elephants for historic cultural processions, which once again brings me to the point. Do we really need to torture and abuse animals for historic cultural processions just because it has been done for centuries? On Ceylinco Life, Let's Talk today is a pioneer in animal welfare, Senior Veterinarian Dr. Nalinika Obeysekere, winner of the World's Small Animal Veterinary Association Award for One Medicine, One Health, and also the Animal Welfare Award, and co-founder and director of PetVet. Welcome, Nalinika. Just let me get straight to the point. Do we really need regulations to safeguard, protect, and look after captive elephants?
I would say at this time, yes, we do need regulations, but in the longer run, we should look at all captive elephants being housed in places like Pinavela or Ridiyagama. Those are really the only places where we can provide a decent level of welfare. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's at least a reasonable level of welfare for these animals. Because wild species have really special needs, and most of us are completely unaware of what those needs are.
So what are these regulations about?
Going specifically to these regulations, there are some really glaring problems in them. One is that they have regulations, but they allow massive exceptions, and they make it meaningless. So I'll just give you 3 examples of that. One of it says, elephants shall not cause to be engaged in work in extremely hot, unfavorable weather conditions, and shall not be taken on foot for a long duration on tarred roads during extremely hot weather conditions. All that is good, right? It makes sense. But then they negate the whole point of that by saying, except for processions or taking for bathing. And it's obvious that a hot tarmac and extreme weather conditions cause serious damage to elephants, regardless of whether they're going for a bath or parade or any place else. So, they negate the whole point of that fairly good regulation. Next example. It says, when taking an elephant for cinema or any similar activities, heat, electricity, electric bulbs, and aesthetics should not be used in a manner that will cause harm. Again, logical. Then they go on to say, except fire drills, lights, and light decorations used in cultural activities, including processions, tourism activities, on state patronage, under state approval, television, live telecasts, recordings. In other words, literally everything. So there is no point even having a clause like that. In those situations, they say it's okay to harm the elephant, which is completely illogical. The third example, it says no person shall light crackers or shoot near an elephant. Again, logical, right? It's likely to make them excited and fearful, and we know that they can become dangerous and all of that. But then it says, except traditional gunfire in traditional processions. As if the Eli is going to say, oh yes, that was traditional gunfire. I must remain calm and cooperative. It's just not the way it works.
Like you say, there's lots of vagueness in this bill, especially on welfare factors.
So again, as a good example, it says, elephants will be allowed sufficient time to sleep. If below 5 years, he will be allowed to sleep longer than that. Nowhere does it say how much is sufficient time. Is it 2 hours? Is it 10 hours? Anybody's guess. Anybody can interpret it any way they want. They don't say what temperature is too hot for an elephant, how long a chain should be, how short it can be, how you can tie its legs, how much space it's needed for housing an elephant. On the other hand, it specifies the size, type with pictures and measurements of the hendoor or spear, a knife, I don't know why you need a knife when you're managing elephants, and a cane.
So this constant use of the word traditional seems rather ambiguous, right?
There are many traditions, locally, globally, all over the world, that are terrible and have been changed. We all know that elephant in mast or elephant that is dangerous or excited has to be left well alone, especially elephants in mast. It's common knowledge. You don't need to be even a scientist to understand that. But in this particular bill, it says that you can take them in procession in keeping with the traditional methods using suitable chains and such chains shall be changed from one limb to the other at least every 3 days. And that just makes no sense to me whatsoever. I mean, if an elephant is in must, you're just asking for trouble by trying to take them in a procession. It should just simply say you can't.
So thank you, Nalinika, for shedding some light on the intricacies of this bill. So traditional seems to be the ambiguous word here, used without sense or sensibility. Using elephants in the name of tradition is not acceptable, and doing it this way by legalizing the torture and abuse of an innocent animal to be taken away from its mother, isolated, chained and kept in a concrete block just because someone wants to own an elephant? As civilized people, we have to do better. This has been Ceylinco Live. Let's talk. Now, please don't forget to press the like sign on YouTube if you like our show today. This is a weekly show, and if you like to be alerted each week, press the subscribe button and the little bell icon. And follow us also on Facebook and Instagram.
We are here to better your lives and champion your every goal. With 12 billion rupees worth of customer benefits in 2020 and a life insurance fund worth over 100 billion rupees, our strength is your strength. You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. Ceylinco Life.